Hello, this is Robert Jones. Do a monthly protest at CPS on Fairview, the 19th of every month from 2 to 4. Decided I'd put out a little video, kind of while we're showing what we chalk as part of the protest every month, and kind of give like maybe a little refresher. I haven't told my story in a little while, so if you've heard my story, maybe this isn't the video for you. But anyways, so how this all started for me is, well, first off, I was taken from my mom when I was 7 years old. Suffered every kind of abuse you can think of while in CPS care, from emotional abuse, which a caseworker actually went to prison over, to the best of my knowledge, and all the way up to, ritualistic abuse. I got out of the system. I was a criminal when I was a kid, because the criminal life, jails are better than foster homes pretty much. And so I got away from that, got married, had kids. And then December 19th of 2014, they took my sister's kids. Me and my wife became licensed foster care providers in order to get them back with the family. And they denied us because we reported sexual abuse in the foster home. You can see evidence of that in one of my first videos I put out on YouTube. So, feel free to look at that. And so what I do now is from 2 to 4, which is about the time they took my nieces and nephew, on the 19th of every month, we come and we protest CPS. Yes, today the parking lot's empty and Fairview's up there, okay? I want to explain that this protest isn't necessarily trying to engage the public. This protest is actually for the caseworkers here, because I want them to stop stealing people's kids. I want them to understand what they're doing to families. I want them to basically come out here and see some of my allegations and look it up to try to prove me wrong and see that I'm not. And then it's actually a lot of times worse than what I say. But it's bad enough even, not going to the full extent. 88% of child sex trafficking victims come from CPS care, according to the FBI and the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. But I usually say 80%, which is bad enough, ain't it? But anyways, so what I do now is I help parents navigate the system. I'm not paid by any state agency or paid at all. It costs me money to do this and time and such. And I've been doing this for about 9 or 10 years now. Had kind of a rough start in the beginning, but then as far as I've been charged, I think it was like 8 times for protesting here. And juries, they convict people because government's always right. And so now what I do is I help families navigate the system, and I try to help them out to the best of my ability. I always work within the authority of the family. So most of my cases aren't public because most people don't want this stuff publicly known. They just want their kids back. They just want to be a parent. They don't want to be an activist. They want to be a parent. And they didn't do anything wrong most of the time. And even if they did do something wrong, CPS isn't just supposed to take your kids and keep them forever. We're supposed to help to reunite them. If you have a drug problem, you go to treatment, they give you your kids back. That's what's supposed to happen. But a lot of times that's not what happens. I've also worked a time or two actually making CPS get involved because we had evidence of pedophilia and CPS didn't want to do anything about it. But they'll take a kid for a toilet seat being left up. They'll, take a kid for no allegations. I had one out of Pocatello that there was actually no allegations against the mom. They took the kids anyways. Kept him for 2 weeks. And you got to look at the funding of CPS. It comes out of your Social Security. Social Security fund is the one who funds all the bonuses and gives the state all this money to separate families. And the kind of the scary thing is that when there's cases when kids really should be removed, most of the time CPS doesn't remove them. But when they're good kids and they just happen to homeschool or not vaccinate or don't just immediately agree to CPS's demands, well, then those people have to fight the system. I've even had cases where You know, mom maintains her innocence. She did not abuse her kid, but she wants to get her kid back. So CPS makes a deal, says, hey, if you just plead guilty to this charge, then we will give you your kids back. I've seen it happen a couple times, but then I've also seen it, you plead guilty and now you've just substantiated their claim, so they don't give you your kids back. So, you know, to me, it's always crazy that, you know, you maintain your innocence and they won't let you have your kid, but as soon as you plead guilty, they'll give them back. What's that about? It's extortion, in my opinion, and they are attacking our families, whether they've attacked your family or not. What about it's when your kids have kids? You know, if you don't stand up against this now, it's only going to get worse. I actually had a couple of kids even stop by today and talk to me about how their family has been affected by CPS and how, you know, they agree with me that, you know, they're kidnappers and that they should abolish them. And they were like, I don't know. Actually, they just walked by again, but I don't know. I'd say they're like 12, maybe as old as 14. I wouldn't say they're any older than that. And then also today had a grandma and a dad come by because CPS and the cops won't tell them where their kids and grandkids are at. They've called multiple times. I had to put out a call to try to get other people to call to at least let them know what's going on with their family, and they just won't do it. So hopefully, you know, if you haven't made the call or you're watching this video late and maybe it's too late for the call, but try to call them out so that the family at least knows where their family's at. I mean, that's really hard when, you know, government has your kids and they won't even tell you where they're at, you know, or what they're doing with them. The unknown is scary. But anyways, Eva did show up today. My wife couldn't show up, she had a meeting, so, but she did come by and chalk before her meeting. She's really good at the chalking. A lot of times I get the kidnappers done and she's already zipped across, and today she did it before me. But anyways, so that's kind of the video. Just a little short one. Put out why I do this. I do this to hopefully get caseworkers to understand what they're doing to families so they'll quit separating families. But, you know, I'm happy for public engagement as well. I'm here the 19th of every month from 2 to 4. If you need assistance, feel free to stop by. Give you my number, or you can give me your number, or look me up on People's Rights. I'm a field assistant for parental rights in the state of Idaho, so, and that does have my updated phone number, so feel free to give me a call and I will do the best to help you. I'm not an attorney, I'm just someone who cares, who has a lot of experience with this. So anyways, I think I'm just dragging on now. So thanks for watching. Bye.